Soap Lions. It's an alright spot. It gets fished quite a bit by other people here. I don't like other people coming here because it's my pond. But I don't own land around it, so. It gets fished quite a bit, but it's pretty alright. It's a good place to take the edge off. Kind of just enjoy a morning like this, a little bit of wind. We're using a little spinnerbait here with a Crush City, I forget what it's called. I'm in Oklahoma, and I'm fishing for largemouth bass or catfish. I've caught a couple catfish out of here, but I'm not really fishing for them in particular right now. I mean, it's not impossible to catch a catfish, but they don't typically bite moving baits. In fact, it's very atypical for them to bite something like this. But you can never rule out the possibility. Anything is possible. Bass, largemouth. There's also channel cats, bluegill, and green sunfish. Green sunfish aren't supposed to be here, but they are, so can't really do anything about it other than exterminate the ones I do catch, because green sunfish are not good for ponds like these. And oh, there's a big bass right there. That fish is huge. Is that even a bass? I think that's a catfish. There's no way that's a bass. No, that's a catfish for sure. It is the middle of nowhere, pretty much. Yeah, I have polarized sunglasses on, so I can kind of see in the water a little bit. Especially when you're standing up over it like that, you can really see. That's a pretty sick eat. Not a bad little post spawner. Off he goes. It'd be really cool if that catfish would eat this spinnerbait, but I really doubt it will. It's a lot of flash and vibration for a catfish. They just don't really like that kind of stuff. I have caught catfish on a trout fly. I've caught one on a miniature bass jig, and I've caught one on a popper. I also snagged one with like a 4-inch swim bait like 4 years ago. That was a crazy fight. Later, lines. Spooked one off the bank. God, this bank line is so soft and squishy. If I make one wrong move, I'm probably gonna fall. What's up, Nathan Sparksman? Predator? How's y'all's days been? This is how you know fish relate to structure, right here. There were fish, when this boat was on this bank, there were fish that burrowed under this boat, right here. Pretty crazy to think about. That fish would burrow under a boat and live there. Stroke. I have not seen too many bullfrogs this year, surprisingly enough. Well, what's your experience, Predator? Do you think you can cast a bait caster? And what techniques are you going to be using? If you're going to be power fishing, like spinner baits, jigs, Texas rigs, chatterbaits, crankbaits, you know, those kind of things that require high torque, I would definitely consider a bait caster. But if you're going to be throwing like wacky rigs and weightless Senkos and just, you know, poppers and small baits, then I would definitely recommend a spinning rod. I'm about to drop this fish, but that's a nice one, like a 2.5 pounder. Send him back on his way. I need to get more bait fish in here. But I mean, if you're throwing like small finessey stuff, then I would definitely either consider a BFS rod or just get a spinning rod. But if you're wanting to throw things like spinner baits, chatter baits, big crankbaits, Texas rigs, and jigs, I would definitely recommend a bait casting rod. And I would recommend something with a little bit more backbone than this, because then you can still throw your jigs and Texas rigs. This is a moving bait rod. This is a rod specifically built for exposed hooks. So it's got a really soft backbone. So it really just, it loads up the pressure and you don't even have to set the hook, because the rod just loads and then that pushes the hook in. Now, if I was using like a Z-Man cross size, I would definitely probably set the hook a little bit better. But this rod is just not designed to have backbone, so I would definitely not get this one. But like, you could get like a Dobyns Fury 703, which is a 7-foot medium heavy. Those are great rods from what I hear. I don't have a 703. I have an 806, which is their 8-foot extra, or 8-foot heavy rod. It's their swim bait rod. But I do have, you know, a couple Googan rods. The Googan Green Series go-to, it's all right. It's a 7-foot 2 medium heavy, or 7-foot medium heavy. It's an all right rod. I mean, it's not very spectacular, and it's just a tad bit overpriced in my opinion, but I don't feel like you could go wrong with that rod. You'll probably get hate for using it, because a lot of people hate Googan nowadays. Or just get like a Luzmont Crush combo. Those are good rods. You don't have to break the bank like I do. I mean, here I am sitting here with $500-$600 combos and $1,000 combo. You don't have to have that to catch fish. It's just personal preference. I like to have nice rods. It's my one flex in life, because fishing is the only thing I'm good at. But you know, in a couple years from now, if you decide that you like the sport of bass fishing, then spoil yourself a little bit. Get that Luz Elite Series rod. Get that Dobyns 806. You know, get that Shimano Curado. I don't have a Curado on this rod because it's a crankbait rod. You don't need an expensive rod or expensive combo for a crankbait rod. Most of my expensive combos are for my bottom contact baits. Spooked a pretty nice bass out of here. I was kind of mad about that. I'm in Oklahoma, monsters. Okay, if you want to throw frogs, get like a 7'3" to 7'6" heavy, fast action. No moderate fast, that'll be too soft. Fast action. And you'll want 50 to 65 pound braid and a reel with a 7-1-1 gear ratio. And it will be casting gear, because I would never throw a frog on a spinning rod. But I'm also the kind of guy who throws monstrous hook sets when I'm frog fishing. Like, it's almost abuse. I mean, I've made 2-pounders go flying with my hook set, but that's kind of just like how I am. When it comes to frogs, I don't like to play around, because usually I'm fishing some of the heaviest cover you'll ever fish. And you got to get their head up and out of that grass with the hook set, so that way they don't dig down in it. But I'm in Oklahoma, and then yesterday was pretty hot. It was like 93, but it wasn't bad. It's because of the storms that are coming through right now. It's creating high pressure before they get here, and then the pressure drops and it gets cold. Then hot again, then cold. Then hot again, then cold. I don't really care much for ugly stick rods. I never have liked them. They're so soft that it's hard to get a good hook set with certain baits with ugly sticks. Other than maybe like that ugly stick carbon that they made, that might have the backbone, but they're so soft and they're not sensitive at all. I can't feel anything with those rods. This rod, which is a crankbait rod, it's not really meant to be sensitive because you throw moving baits. It's actually by design meant to be less sensitive because by the time you feel it, usually like they actually have it. And so, you know, when you go to throw a hook set or just lean into it, they actually, like that, they actually have it. You know, it kind of gets heavy, and then the next thing you know, they're pulling it. The rod I'm using, or like the Dobbins rods, because the rod I'm using, you probably don't need to buy as what's it called, a novice bass angler. You probably don't need this rod. You know, just focus on your medium heavy, your 7-foot medium heavy. You can throw just about anything on it. You can throw frogs on it. It'll be a little bit hard to get the hook set, but if you hook set hard enough and you have braid on, you could definitely throw a frog on a medium heavy. I mean, I've done it. This combo is $400. This is one of my cheaper combos. I went cheap with the reel because I just needed a decent crankbait reel. So I got a $100 reel on there, and then the rod's $300. This is one of my cheaper combos. My really cheap combos are like, I think my cheapest combo is $200. And it's a spinning rod because I just don't really use spinning rods. I don't hardly ever finesse fish, and when I do, I can usually throw it on a little bait caster, so I just use a bait caster instead. Just this year, over $1,000 already. Probably $2,000, $3,000. Especially if you're counting fuel for driving. Yeah, over $2,000, easy. The reel I think has either 11 or 12 pound max drag, but I set it kind of light because you don't need that much drag on a crankbait rod. Because if you set the drag too tight, especially when you're throwing like actual treble hooks, if you set the drag too tight, you'll pull the hooks out of their mouth. That's why you want this soft rod. You don't want to throw like a really stiff rod with crankbaits because you'll pull the treble hooks out of their mouth. Because, you know, when you put a certain amount of tension, something's got to give, and usually it's the fish's mouth. And so you pull the treble hooks out of their mouth if you have too much drag or too much resistance. And, you know, if you're going to throw a jerkbait, which I know I just kind of threw this out here, I don't even know if you throw jerkbaits. But I know in the winter, I love throwing jerkbaits. It's one of my favorite ways to fish because you can still kind of power fish when you're doing it. You'll want like a 7 foot at the longest. But you'll want like a 6'9", maybe even 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", maybe 6'10". You could probably get away with 6'10". And you want a medium, moderate, or a medium fast. You want a really, really short rod for a jerkbait rod. Because when you work a jerkbait, you get your rod tip down close to water like this, and then you just I've caught a few bass. But yeah, I'm fishing for bass. That's all I've ever fished for, really. I mean, I've fished for catfish. I've caught some striper in my life. And of course, the bluegill. And, you know, I caught a couple of carp. I caught a carp on a fly rod one time. That was cool. I've caught some trout and some walleye and crappie, but mainly I just fish for bass. I actually caught a crappie on a bass jig one time. That was pretty cool. It was like a 1.5 pound crappie. It was the biggest crappie in my life. I just don't have too many bodies of water around me that have crappie in them. And the ones I do usually get so fish for crappie because people like to eat them. Which I don't blame them for wanting to eat crappie. Crappie are delicious. And they're not eating bass, so have at it. Wasn't too long ago, this log was not submerged. The water levels come up so far. Because all the rain we've been getting. It's great. The biggest bluegill I ever caught was I think 3/4 pound bluegill on a chatterbait. It was either that or it was a full pound. I don't remember exactly. But it was a big bluegill. And the biggest bass I ever caught was out of this pond. I caught a 12 pounder. 12 pounds, 6 ounces was what the scale said. Caught that 4 years ago. It was giant, proper giant. Caught it on topwater too. That was the coolest thing ever. Never in my life did I think I'd be yanking a 12 pounder out of a pond on a mid-July day. I say mid-July, it was towards the evening. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was it broke the reel I was using. I was using a little cheapo spinning reel. Just throwing a little popper around. It was either a popper or a swim jig. And it broke the reel. So I had to hand line it in, but catch is a catch, especially if it's a 12 pounder. A 5 pound bluegill? Dude, the world record is 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Are you sure it was a 5 pound bluegill or was it more like maybe 2? Or are you sure it wasn't actually a bluegill or was it a red ear? Because you're in Arizona, so you have red ear. Were you on like Lake Havasu? Because I know Lake Havasu has giant red ears. Or shellcracker. Close relative of the bluegill, but not quite a bluegill. They get bigger. I mean, I'm not trying to like talk down on your story here, but just that sounds like if you actually caught a 5 pound bluegill, that's massive. But like a 5 pound red ear, that's a lot more. That would make a lot more sense. It's not that I don't believe you. It's just, God, a 5 pound bluegill? That is a big turtle. I need to kill that. He is a problem. What's up, Remy? Bear Kings. Oh, I bet he was. I mean, those sunfish like that, I hear they're some of the best eating fish out there, aside from crappie and walleye. And apparently snakehead is really good. You ever heard of a snakehead? They're really bad for the environment here. And they're starting to make their ways inland because now they're in Missouri, which is really not good because that's one state away from me, which means that they're probably going to be in my lakes within the next 10 years. I mean, they're cool fish, but they're really bad. They'll take over an entire ecosystem. I mean, I don't live in Florida or any of the eastern states or southern eastern because now they're in the southeastern states because they've been moving so fast. But I know that they're not good. They're really, like, they're cool fish. You know, they got that cool spot on their tail and they're really aggressive, but God, they're not good. They'll bite a bluegill in half in one bite and then leave half of the bluegill and eat the other half. And they'll decimate bait fish populations. And then they'll start going after your game fish when they eat all the bait fish. And they have no natural predators. They're really hard to kill and they have no natural predators. The only predators that snakeheads have in the US are humans. I also want to catch a clown knife fish. Those fish are just cool. Like, they're weird, but they're cool because they're exotic. I also want to catch peacock. I want to catch like a big peacock though, like an Amazonian peacock, like an 18-pounder. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, a tadpole. The froggy spawned. Won't be too long and we'll be hearing those guys scream all night. Yeah. If snakehead make it into this pond, I'm probably going to turn the water off and dry it out and just let them die. I know I'll kill the bass, but I'll never beat them. Once they get in your pond, they never get out. Just like my biggest fear are sea lampreys. They are terrifying. I never want to swim in water with sea lampreys. If he knows what snakeheads are, he should probably know what sea lampreys are, and they're terrifying. They're European, and then they were brought over here by Europeans. Go figure, just about everything here. Europeans and Asians. God, it's so humid. We might have a tornado today. The air is very unstable right now. You can just feel it. There might be a tornado today, just how the air feels. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel them naders coming. There was a tornado a couple days ago. I sat outside and watched it while I was fishing. Pretty cool. He was heading south of me. Wasn't even worried. No, they're like an eel, and they attach themselves to you, and then they have a tooth in the back of their mouths, and it like digs a hole in your skin, and then they have enzymes that break down your skin, and then they start sucking nutrients out of your body like a parasite. They're a parasite. Oh, that didn't sound good. Jeremy Wade caught one and he stuck it to his arm and it looks so painful. And they're just ugly. They're ugly to look at. They're really slimy. I just don't like eels too. They make my skin crawl. Even moray eels. I know there were just cattle on this bank and I'm trying to fish it. I'm not a very smart individual. The only problem with this rod being so noodly is I feel like I lose casting distance. Oh, that felt like a fish. Must not have been though. So they're like eels. Body. And then they have a little tooth, and then their enzymes also break down your skin. And then they start sucking out your nutrients. And they're a parasite. And they're like yay big. Fast in the water. Yeah, they're similar to a leech. But they're worse because they're considerably bigger than a leech. And they can see. They're not just going off of their external senses, they can actually see. Oh, it's hard to walk on this bank line now. It's all the rain we've been getting. Oklahoma's supposed to be like the wettest spot in the nation this weekend, or this week. Which is awesome. I love that. I hope this pond gets huge again. Right now we're sitting at probably just about full. We're probably right at about 100% capacity. But it's supposed to rain a bunch this week, and I'm hoping I can get up to those trees like I have a few years in the past, to where I can fish the trees. Because those trees are kind of juice when the water comes up. God, it got absolutely nailed.